Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So not too long ago, I asked you guys in a poll who you would like to hear messages from in a reading, and these are the results that we got. As you can see, messages from your future self was the most popular answer, so that is the reading that we're going to be doing today. Messages from the person on your mind was also a close second, so I think I'm also going to do that one in the near future, but today we are focusing on the future self. So it's up to you guys how you would like to use this reading. For example, if there is a specific point in the future that you would like to know about, you want to hear about you in 3 months from now, or you in 1 year from now, or you in 5 years from now. If you would like to specify that time frame, then just set that intention while you're choosing your pile. However, if you just want to hear about you from an unspecified point in the future, that is totally fine too. It's also completely fine to watch several or all of the groups today. For example, you might want to do like, this will be messages from me in 6 months from now, and this will be messages from me in 5 years from now. So however you guys feel called to use this reading, it is entirely up to you. But I just wanted to mention that you definitely don't have to limit yourself to just one pile. There could be messages for you in multiple of the readings today. But without further ado, let's go ahead and show you each of your options. We have 4 different readings to choose from, so I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and please pick whichever one or ones you feel drawn to the most. So for number 1, we have this Selenite star. For number 2, we have this Amazonite heart. For number 3, we have this Trolleite point. And for number 4, we have this Celestite rock. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose our lovely Selenite star, this is going to be your reading. I actually do have an intuitive message for you guys. This came through before I started filming, so I want to share it with you before we even get into the cards. There is a message from your future self. If you are learning a particular skill right now, keep at it. Do not give up. Practice makes perfect, and with time you will master this skill. So for those of you who are currently working on developing a skill, this is your confirmation to keep going at it. This is a very good path that you have chosen. But particularly, I do feel that this is like an extra push for those of you who might be thinking of quitting something. Quitting on a certain goal, a certain skill you're trying to develop, a certain educational path. There is a message of don't quit, keep at it. Maybe reconsider, or at the very least, if you are going to quit, at least don't quit the skill itself. So just for an example, let's say you are taking piano lessons and you're like, I'm not really feeling this, or I'm not really making progress. I think I'm gonna quit. Your future self is saying, please reconsider, maybe hang in there a bit longer and you might change your mind. Or at the very least, if you are going to quit those particular lessons, just keep doing piano. Just do me a favor. Maybe you don't like the teacher, maybe you don't like the lesson environment. You can quit that, but just don't quit on the skill itself. That's what they're trying to say, because you just never know. You don't know how far this skill is going to take you, and that's kind of a hint that it's going to take you farther than you realize right now. It's going to open a lot of doors for you in the future, even if what you end up doing in the future is not the exact skill that you're learning right now. It might be something related to that, related to the lessons that you're taking, related to your major, related to something that you're learning or practicing right now. So just keep at it. It's going to open a lot of doors. For those of you who are thinking of starting to learn something new or work on a new skill, this is your future self's message to go for it. Like, that is a brilliant idea. You should do it. In fact, I am thanking you in advance for going for it. There's also a message for those of you who are very passionate about something or very knowledgeable about something, almost like you are a geek for something, that the future you has found people with whom they can share this interest and they feel a lot less lonely. One thing that is coming to my mind for some reason is like, let's say you are a huge like science freak and you love talking about science and sharing scientific facts with people, but no one around you seems to be really interested in it. And so you're like, oh, who am I going to share these fun facts with? Or who am I going to talk to about these scientific theories or this cool groundbreaking research when nobody really cares or nobody really understands it? So niche interests that you have right now, but you don't really feel like you can share it, the future you is saying you have found your people who get it, who have the same level of knowledge as you, they know the same jargon, the same terminology as you, and they can keep up with you in these conversations, and they can add their own opinions. So you're not just sharing your interest with someone and they're nodding like, oh yeah, that's cool. They're like, yeah, and blah, 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 and like adding something else to it, which is really, really fun when someone reciprocates your energy like that. It could even be something like spirituality and tarot, where you're finding your friends who are spiritual too. But it's like those specific interests that you have, you're gonna have your people to share them with. So yeah, it's a few intuitive messages that came through right off the bat. And I have to turn off the heat. Oh man, when it's the summer, I have to turn on the AC during my readings, and when it's the winter I have to turn off the heating because it just always makes me warm. So let's get into the cards now. Today we're going to be using these two beautiful decks that I have right here. We're going to start with the tarot deck. This is the Mystic Dreams Advanced Tarot, and then we're going to go in with the Oracle deck. This is the Inquire Within Oracle, and I did want to talk about these decks briefly before we get into it. These decks are my KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, which I have curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I think many of you are familiar with Tarot Stack already, but if you haven't heard of them before, they are an online shop that carries indie tarot and oracle decks. They have an amazing selection and they offer a wide range of decks from different creators all in one place. So it's very easy to browse, and 50% of their profits go towards publishing, printing, and marketing new indie deck projects. They actually just released their first indie publication recently, and they have more in the works, and I just love what they do for the tarot community. So this is my winter bundle. It's my third bundle that I've done with them, and you'll see in this reading how the decks go together. Very lovely. And if you enjoy one of these decks, or if you enjoy both of them as a bundle, the link to the bundle will be down below in the description and the pinned comment, and you can get this bundle for 10% off with the code KINO. So let's get into your cards. We're going to start off with the Mystic Dreams Tarot. I'm going to pull a row of 3 cards at first. So we could be getting 3 different messages from your future self, or all 3 cards could be talking about one message. I'm going to leave it open to them. And then we're going to pull another row of 3 cards underneath to clarify. I feel like this is a clairvoyant group, also claircognizant, because we were getting intuitive hits right from the start without even going into the cards, but clairvoyance is big for this group because I am getting visuals for you guys, which I normally don't on my own, but I have an image of a spider in my mind, so that could be a lucky animal, a spirit animal for you guys. If you see a spider or see images of a spider, it could be good luck for you. Or the number 8 could be lucky because spiders have 8 legs. The color red is lucky for this group as well. All right, what messages does group number one's future self have for them? We are starting off with the Conqueror of Swords. So this is the Knight of Swords. Then we have the Seeker of Swords. So this is the Page of Swords. Woo! That's a lot. And then we have, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We have the Eight of Wands. Does that go? Yeah, it goes this way. All right, so now we are gonna pull our clarifiers. So a card to clarify the Knight of Swords is the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, that's nice, okay. A card to clarify the Page of Swords, we have the Moon. And a card to clarify the Eight of Wands. We have the Star. Wow. Okay, so a couple things I want to mention for you guys. I feel like with the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords coming out back to back, an air sign could be significant to you guys. I do feel like this is talking about another person or other people. There is a specific air sign that is going to be very significant in your future. Or when you start to meet a lot of air signs, that's a sign that good luck is coming. Kind of strange, but if you start meeting a lot of new people and you're like, what is going on? Everyone I meet is an air sign, or like I suddenly have all these air signs around me, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, by the way. That's like a sign that good luck is coming. And at the bottom here, we have the Star and the Moon. I don't know when you guys will be watching this video, but it will be up in February 1st, I believe. And we have Aquarius energy here and Pisces energy here. So I feel like this chunk of time could be significant for you guys. Aquarius season and Pisces season, which is late January to late March. So if you're watching this around the time that it's uploaded, then we are in that period right now. But whenever you happen to be watching this, I think that the next late January to late March period is going to be very significant for you guys, especially in this sense of manifesting your desires. It's really interesting. In the top row of cards here, all of these cards have a very speedy kind of energy to them. Swords is the fastest suit of tarot, and we have the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords coming out here. And then the Eight of Wands is also a card that is very speedy. And it also talks about manifestation, things accelerating in your life, things gaining momentum, things becoming busy. I think something your future self wants you to know is that everything that you are desiring right now for them has come true. Everything that you are working towards has come true. But I feel like your future self is a little bit overwhelmed. And that could be for a couple of different reasons. It could be because everything happened at once. And so they're trying to like juggle everything at the same time. Or it could be that your future self did not realize how much of a responsibility these things were. And there is one example coming to my mind. I think it is just, what is it called? Not metaphorical, but it's hypothetical just so you can understand the energy. But I'm thinking of the example of getting a puppy. So let's say the current you really, really wants a puppy. You want to get a puppy so badly. This is your future self saying, we got the puppy, but holy crap, this is a lot of work. I didn't realize how much work a puppy is, or I didn't realize how big of a responsibility, how much time and energy it would take from me. I'm not saying I regret it, definitely not. I'm extremely happy that I got this puppy. I'm just giving you a heads up that it's gonna be a lot more work than you think. So just a little heads up there. Of course, this can be applied to so many different situations, but I feel like puppy was a good example of that. This could also be advice from your future self to kind of strategize your plans, space them out, because you might need more time than you realize. So if you're planning to move, maybe don't plan to move around your exam season, or maybe don't plan to move around the beginning of the semester. I feel like there's something you guys you're underestimating the chaos. You're like, oh, it'll be fine. Like we're never busy at the start of the semester. Like whatever, I'll just move then. Cause you're like antsy. But then when the time comes, you're like, oh crap, I didn't expect this. This is a lot more busy than I thought. As much as you might think you can multitask and it's gonna be fine, try to space out your things as much as you can. Especially like travel, not especially, well actually maybe especially because I said it like that, but I was just thinking of travel plans. You're thinking like, yeah, I'll be okay. I'll get home from this trip and then I'll leave for the next one in 3 days. It's gonna be fine. Like I'll just pack really quickly. Or don't jam things in closely like that, okay? Like give yourself more time than you think you need. That is the advice from your future self. I don't think anything majorly bad is gonna happen. It's just, it's unnecessary stress and it's unnecessary fatigue. So like, yes, we are gonna do everything we want to do, but there is a timeline where everything overlaps and it's a bit overwhelming. So just don't rush and space things out if you can. And just be aware that some things ahead and some things that you're planning is going to be a bit more work than you thought. It's going to take a bit more time than you thought. I also have this example of like booking a hair appointment and then booking a nail appointment like 2 hours later. And then, oh my God, my hair is taking like 4 hours. You get it. Just give yourself the time. Yes. So let's talk about the Knight of Pentacles clarifying the Knight of Swords. This is very, very nice. I do believe that your desires are manifesting for you quite quickly. And in fact, I think that this future you that we're hearing from is not that far into the future. I feel like at most this is a few months, 6 months tops into the future. Unless of course you chose a specific window of time that you wanted to hear about, then just ignore me. But for those of you who went into this reading thinking of an unspecified future, I do think this future you is not that far. And they're saying because the things that you want to manifest, it's not going to take that long. And something that is really nice is that everything you're manifesting is here to stay. So like it's coming in quickly, but it's definitely not an easy come, easy go situation. It's like you're getting to where you want to go and then you're staying there. You are maintaining it. So you're reaching your goals and then you're maintaining it, you're sustaining it, because the Knight of Pentacles talks about stability, it talks about consistency. Some examples that are coming to my mind are like blowing up on social media and then keeping that engagement. So it's not just like a one-hit wonder, or reaching your fitness goal and staying there. So you don't rebound, you don't bounce back, you don't fall back to where you were before. You springboard yourself up into the air to new heights, and then you stay cruising up there. So you're going to manage everything. You're going to manage everything just fine. There's also, your future self is saying that some people or person from your past will be reaching out to you around this time. There's a feeling of wanting to rekindle a connection, rekindle an old friendship, or maybe an old flame is reaching out, if that's relevant to you. And their advice is to just leave it for now, because maybe this sounds kind of harsh, but rekindling old connections right now, it's kind of like a distraction, because I feel like you have so much going on for you. You're booked and busy, you're making moves, you're successful, and it would just be a distraction, or it would just be overwhelming, you know? Even if you have intentions to rekindle and entertain this relationship, it seems like you would just get so busy and it will be really hard to keep it up. So if you're thinking of like going back to an old connection, or like rekindling a bond with someone, getting into relationships, that kind of thing, they're kind of giving advice like wait until it's settled a little bit. Wait until things have settled, because I feel like in the next few months you're going through a very busy period. Now we have the Page of Swords, which is clarified by the moon. Okay, some of you guys are having very vivid dreams right now, and you're either seeing a very literal, accurate depiction of your future, or something that is very symbolic of your future. So if you guys are having dreams that are realistic, meaning there's no weird stuff going on, it's something that could actually happen on Earth, then I think you are seeing a very clear snapshot of your future. You know, so like if you had a dream that you're sitting down and having coffee with someone, then that will actually happen in your future. It's like a prophetic dream. However, if you're having weird dreams, like having coffee with a red elephant, okay, maybe that's not going to happen, but that snapshot that you're seeing is still very relevant. It's symbolically telling you of something that will happen in your future. So don't ignore your dreams. Even if it seems like, oh, those are weird, like that obviously is never going to happen on Earth. But no, it's a symbol of what is going to happen on Earth in your real life. So maybe you look up the symbolism of an elephant, the symbolism of the color red, and you put two and two together. Oh, the red elephant is representing my cousin Jimmy. How did I not see it? So just don't dismiss anything that you are seeing in your dreams. I feel like your future self and your higher self are talking to you a lot through your dreams. But I think that some of you guys, well, some of you could just be forgetting your dreams, but I think there is a significant amount of you who are dismissing them because you feel like they're too good to be true. Like, oh, I'm just dreaming about this because it's my fantasy. I'm just dreaming about this person because I like them. No, well, that might be a reason, but your future self is trying to show you something that is actually going to happen. So I feel like mythical creatures or non-human beings that you might interact with in your dreams are actually symbolic of real people in your life. And even weird, crazy situations in your dreams are symbolic of real situations in your life. So you might have to do a little bit of Googling. I like to Google what things mean in my dreams, or just a little bit of thinking on your own, but I promise you that there is a deeper meaning. There's also a message here that a lot of you are doubting how intelligent you are or how capable you are at something. So perhaps future you has kind of realized this. Maybe that's why they're coming back here to tell you to go for something. Go for it, learn that new skill, or keep at that skill. Because I feel like you are underestimating how good you are at it. And if you put yourself out there, or if you put yourself in a group environment where we are studying this thing or where we're working on this skill, you will surely quickly see how good you are at it. That is for sure. if you ever want to get in touch more with your future self or with your higher self, automatic writing could be a really helpful tool for you guys. So just like putting your pen or pencil to paper and just going at it without thinking about what is coming out. You can also do automatic speaking, which I do sometimes, which is just speaking without thinking, just letting the messages come out. But your future self is definitely, and I kind of want to say your higher self interchangeably here. Your higher self is very eager to communicate with you in dreams and in your waking life alike. And then finally we have the Eight of Wands clarified by this star. Yeah, a lot of you guys who chose this group, you are thinking that what you want to manifest, what you desire, is too good to be true. And your future self is saying from experience that that is not the case. So not only are you manifesting the things that you want, but your future self is here to tell you they are as good as you imagined, or even better. And I just realized you guys chose a star, and we have the star here. Yeah, I feel like Aquarius season, which is like literally right now, could be significant for you guys. Or actually, whatever month you are watching this reading, this month is important for you guys. Could also be that an Aquarius person is important, but things are getting easier. They're definitely getting easier in the emotional sense. Like you're soon getting confirmation. I want to say confirmation, like that you're not crazy, that you're not just fantasizing, that you're not delusional, that in fact the things that you want are very much in reach and very much possible for you. Because like you're doubting something about yourself. You're doubting your intellectual capabilities, or you're doubting how quickly you would get the hang of something if you just tried it. Like you would pick up on it faster than you realize. Or like if you just switch your teacher, or if you just switch your learning method, or something like that, it would work wonders and you would pick up on it much faster. Some of you guys might be thinking you are the problem, that you're not making progress, but you actually just have, and no, well, kind of offense, I guess. I was gonna say you actually just have a crappy teacher, or you actually just don't have a supportive environment, or the method, the approach is not right for you. And simple adjustments like this can do wonders for you. Because I feel like there's this moment where you're like, wow, I'm not dumb. Like I was never the problem. I was never incapable. I just needed a different approach, or I needed different support, or I needed to put something in my body. I had a deficiency or something like that. It's like a quick fix. Well, anyway, it's a fix that makes you realize that you're a lot more capable than you once thought. And so then all the things that you thought were too good to be true were so out of your reach, it becomes realistic now. You just need the right support, the right environment, the right people around you, and then you'll see how easily you can attain these things. What you think is too good to be true, it's not the case at all. And your future self can tell you this because they have been there and they have achieved it. That's lovely. The future is very, very promising for this group. So we are going to take a look at your oracle cards now. So we're going to shuffle the Inquire Within deck. Ooh, I just love how both the decks have this beautiful gold detail. So, what messages or guidance? And like, sorry, I'm just gushing over the beauty of the decks. I don't know if you can tell, like from where the camera is. They're all the same color, but they all have slightly different backgrounds, like different patterns going on in the background. It looks simple, but it's quite complex if you look closely. Okay. I just heard like a lot of effort goes into making things look effortless, which I think some of you guys need to hear. A lot of effort goes into making things look effortless. So I guess if you're ever admiring someone's work, you're like, wow, like how did they make it look so easy? They make it look so effortless. Or like, wow, that is so simple and so minimalist, and yet it's so impactful. Like, it looks breezy and effortless and minimalist on the surface maybe, but a lot of thought went into it. A lot of thought. Sometimes simplifying things is actually harder. Reducing things to their pure essence is actually harder. Okay. So we got clairaudience going on in this group as well. Claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience. Yes, you do have all of these. I also want to tell you guys that you should not feel guilty for venting every now and then, for complaining every now and then. I just had a visual of a whale coming up to the surface of the water and like, you know, like shooting out of their blowhole. And there was this feeling of like, relief. I've been waiting to get that off my chest. I think that it's like we all need those moments of just uninhibited release and talking crap and getting the negativity out of our body. And I think that some of you guys in this group tend to, it's like you like supervise yourself or police yourself while you're talking, and you try to like rationalize the situation. Just for one easy example, sometimes you just have to say like, oh my God, like people at work were so freaking annoying today, and just like get that out, you know? But I feel like, and I get it, we're trying to be positive, we're trying to be spiritual, we're trying to see the oneness in others. So you might say like, oh, but you know, maybe they were just preoccupied and you don't know what battle they were going through. Like, sure, that is true, but you also need to get that annoyance off of your chest. And you don't need to belittle that. You can talk crap sometimes. You can be petty sometimes and just get it out, and then it won't linger, and then you will feel better. Okay, now how about that oracle deck now? Okay, let's get into this one. Group number ones. Ooh, seek inspiration in unusual places. And right as I pulled out this card, I saw 3131. Ooh, we have listen quietly. So you guys might find inspiration from music. You could also find inspiration from, oh, interesting. I was gonna say you could find inspiration from like audiobooks, podcasts, things that you listen to, but even just going outside and listening. I just pictured someone sitting at a table outside, sitting at a park bench, and just listening to the sounds around them. Just listening to the natural environment. You could get inspiration. Maybe you overhear a conversation. Maybe you hear a car horn that sounds beautiful, and then you write a song around it. we also have rest. I think this group, you need to get your rest while you can. If you are feeling frustrated at things being stagnant, future self, future you, you're gonna wish you got your rest because things are speeding up. Take this time to recharge and prepare for the huge momentum. And then finally, we have it's all for a reason. Wow. So I think that I do feel that this group has been waiting on a lot of things. And I think your future self, they're coming from a place where they finally understand why things unfolded the way they did and why things took as long as they did. And I think they're even hinting that the answers are already within you right now. Your future self, as someone who has had all of their manifestations come to them, they can look around them and say, oh, okay, I understand why this happened at this time. I understand why this delay was present or why this obstacle was present at that point. Like, I get it now. It's all coming together. Because they see that evidence in front of them. But even the you now, if you close your eyes and listen to your inner guidance, you can get these answers now. If you ever, I guess if you're ever feeling, I don't know what the word is, not convinced, let's say. If you're ever feeling not convinced about anything in your journey, you can get the answers. So maybe you're thinking like, okay, I get that everything happens in divine timing. Like, I get that. I'm just not convinced right now. Like, something feels weird about why this hasn't happened yet. Something feels like, okay, I get that everything is happening exactly as it should, but I'm not totally convinced because it feels for some reason like whatever's happening right now shouldn't be happening. If ever you feel like not convinced, don't feel guilty about questioning or feel guilty about being doubtful, because sometimes us spiritual folk like to put that down. There's no need to be ashamed of that, because your future self is saying, oh no, we have our divine guidance. Like, we can literally go in at any moment and be like, hey, this is, I don't get this. Can you please explain this to me? Like, why is this happening? Why is this not happening? What's going on? Like, you're allowed to want answers. And I really don't think that it's like your guides, your future self is telling you, look, like, our guides, your guides, they don't want to hide anything from you. They're not trying to hide anything from you. And if it ever feels like your guides aren't giving you answers, it's because you already have them. They're not saying like, oh, you can't know the answer because it's a surprise, or you're not ready, or you're not allowed. They just don't want to rob you of gaining that ability to look within and find it. So basically, answers are not being hidden from you right now. So if your guides aren't answering you directly, or if readings aren't answering you directly, it's because you already have the answer. It's not because you can't know yet or anything like that. Like, you literally have it. I hope that makes sense. So all it takes is to close your eyes and just listen. It's almost as if you would hear the inner voice of your higher self tell you the answer. And when they tell you, you take that because it's valid. Yes. Oh, interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we have get out of your own way. Okay. Interesting. This makes me think of like someone floating up from their body, almost like astral travel, or just getting out of their head, you know? It kind of also looks like this. Seek inspiration in unusual places. Maybe you guys are getting inspiration from other realms. But it's amazing the answers that you'll see when you just get out of your head. All right, my lovely group number ones. Those are all the messages from your future self. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very much to you in all timelines, the past you, the present you, the future you. I thank all of you for being here, your 3D self, your 5D self. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. If you guys enjoyed one of these decks or enjoyed the bundle of decks together, they will be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. And remember, if you do get the bundle, you can get 10% off using the code KINO. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack as well for allowing me to collaborate with you again. And thank you very much to the creators of these beautiful, beautiful decks. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram, where I regularly post pick a card readings. You can find me on Patreon, which we actually just started back up in February. We are up and running again, posting new content. There are over 50 exclusive pick a card readings on there as of now, plus 2 new ones every month, and you get to choose the topic for those. You can also find me on my music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And finally, we have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple. That is at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff, I know that was a lot, all of that stuff that I just mentioned is gonna be linked for you down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It means so, so much to me. I really appreciate you being here. And group number ones, I am sending you guys so much love. Much love to your spirit guides and your spiritual team as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number twos. So if you guys chose the Amazonite, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to be using these 2 decks today. We're going to start off with the tarot deck. This is the Mystic Dreams Advanced Tarot. And then we're going to pull some oracle cards at the end from the Inquire Within Oracle. And just before we get into it, I did want to talk about these decks a little bit. I have once again collaborated with Tarot Stack to create a seasonal deck bundle. So this is the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle. I think a lot of you guys are familiar with Tarot Stack already, but just in case you haven't heard of them, they are an online shop that features indie, tarot, and oracle decks and ships worldwide. They have an amazing selection of decks by independent artists, and I love what they do for our community because 50% of all of their profits go towards funding indie deck projects. So they help creators print their deck, publish their deck, and market it to the public. And I just think that is so amazing. They actually just published their first project and they have more in the works. So we're going to be using these 2 decks today. If you like them together, or if you even just like one deck, the individual decks and the bundle is also going to be linked down below for you. And if you do get the bundle, you can get it for 10% off using the code KINO. So without further ado, let's get into your reading. We're going to start off with your tarot deck. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, a row of 3 cards to start off. This may be 3 different messages from your future self. They may all be about the same message. I'm going to leave that open to them, but then we're also going to pull another row of 3 cards underneath to clarify. Okay, what messages does group number 2's future self have for them at this time? What would group number 2's future self like to tell them? Oh, I wanted to mention something to you guys. You are, of course, group number 2. And when I was filming the intro and showing you this heart, like number 2, you have this Amazonite heart, the camera time was actually at 2:22. So I feel like 2 is a very important number for you guys. It could be indicating significant partnerships coming in. It could be your future self trying to tell you that they are very happy with the relationships they have. If you are currently in a relationship, I definitely think that your future self is still with that person and is very happy. If there's someone you currently want to be with right now in a relationship, I do think that your future self is with them. Because it's like they're with someone, they're in love, they're very, very happy. If you're not into romantic stuff, you're definitely surrounded by loved ones. I can tell you that for sure. There's also something about a public figure. Could be you could be the public figure in the future. Or you could be dating a public figure or be really, really close with one. You have the same amount of workload and the same amount of responsibilities in the future, but you are less stressed. So this could mean that, yes, you're working the same amount, but maybe you're doing something different that you actually like, and so it doesn't feel stressful. Or you have found a good way to manage your stress, or you have set better boundaries in your life, and that reduces stress in your life. Some of you are doing something different for a living, and it's funny because you'll realize that you actually are quite hardworking. So, for example, you might have thought, the current you or the past you might have thought, oh my gosh, I'm just not built for a 9-to-5. Like, I can't get up early. I cannot work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. That is just not me. But then when you get a 9-to-5 job that you actually love and you get to hang out with awesome people all day, then you're like, I freaking love 9-to-5 life, you know? It's something like that where you're working the same amount, but you don't feel as tired or stressed because like what you're doing all day is awesome. Or you're doing the same thing that you love, it's just that you have better ways to manage your stress or better boundaries. It's something like that. I also feel Sagittarius and Pisces energy for this group. That could be you, or it could be the sign of a significant person, maybe your partner, maybe that public figure. Because Jupiter energy is strong for this group. And so I'm thinking of Sagittarius and Pisces, which are, you know, the signs ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is also a sign of travel, higher education, developing your spirituality. All right, let's get into your cards now. What messages does group number 2's future self have for them? We have the Ace of Swords. Completion, so this is the World. Interesting that we were just talking about travel. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Now let's get a card to clarify the Ace of Swords. So, wow, to clarify the Ace of Swords, we have the Ace of Wands. To clarify the World, we have Justice. And to clarify the Four of Pentacles, To clarify the Four of Pentacles, we have the Sun. Okay, so I mentioned Sagittarius and Pisces energy before. I also want to mention Libra energy and Leo energy that we have here. I actually feel that for many of you, this could be indicating a significant window of time. So the period between Leo season and Libra season is late July to late October. So whenever you are watching this video, when those seasons are coming up next, that could be an important time for you. I also think that you guys have a lot of angelic guidance with you. We have 1, 1, 11. This adds up to a 1, the Sun card. So there's a lot of ones going on here. It just made me think of angelic guidance right now. I actually want to start by looking at this World card with Justice. There's definitely a significant relationship in your future that your future self wants you to know about. So like I mentioned before, if you're already with someone, this relationship is definitely blossoming a lot in your future. Or if you have a person of interest, someone you want to be with, you are with that person. Even if you don't have someone in mind yet, your future self is making it very, very clear that you do have someone in the future. There's a very significant partnership. If you're like, no way, I'm not interested in romance, nope, that's not me. Well, there is still a very significant partnership in your life. So it could be a business partnership, it could be a friendship. I feel that it's like a significant romantic partnership for a lot of you, someone you care about very deeply. Because there's a feeling of your future self telling you the feelings are reciprocated and the two of you are equals. Meaning that you're energetically equal, you're very similar energetically, but also that you're putting equal efforts into the partnership and you are equally active and equally successful and equally out there accomplishing things. Like you both have your own things going in life. For those of you who are in a long distance relationship, your future self is telling me that you are living in the same place now. And for those of you who have visa issues or legal issues that are getting in the way of a significant partnership, then those visa or legal issues have been solved now, and you can live peacefully the way that you want to. There's a message of relocation happening for an important partnership. So like you moving to be with your person, or you and your person moving to pursue an opportunity. It could also be that you've gotten hired by somewhere far away, so you have to move to go like take that opportunity. But I do see relocation in your future. At the very least, moving to another city. But I feel like for most of you, it's something bigger. It's like, you know, with the world, I often think of overseas travel. You are finally getting recognized for your hard work. So the hard work that you're putting in now has paid off for your future self. And at this time, you have a lot of admirers. And I'm kind of hearing that it is not a blessing and a curse, because it really, really is a blessing. I don't think the future you is like, ugh, like I have so many admirers. No, you're very happy to be recognized. You're very happy to have people who appreciate you, people who follow you. But there is a little catch that comes with it, that you have to be a little bit more careful about how you present yourself, what you say, your image. You can't be like 100% raw and real and unfiltered. You know, you kind of have to take care of your look or take care of your brand or something like that. So, I mean, an easy example of that would be like you becoming a celebrity or becoming someone who's in the public eye, and there's like a million people watching you and you have your brand to think about. But of course, this can happen on many different situations. For example, maybe you work for a company where the work environment is very chill. It's very laid back. Maybe there's not really a strict dress code. You can speak in very casual, informal language with the people you work with, and then you get a promotion. So now you have to watch yourself a bit more. You have to dress a little bit more clean. You have to speak very formal language. You have to be careful of your mannerisms and respect the hierarchies and stuff like that. So there's a feeling of we're moving up because our efforts were recognized, but it's not so chill anymore. And that's kind of like the trade-off, if that makes sense. We have to be a little bit more prim and proper and put together and be more aware of the eyes on us. So I think your future self is just giving you a little heads up of that, but also a huge pat on the back and a huge thank you for all of the hard work that you've put in. It could also be that this partnership you're entering into, oh, that makes sense, because like we had that Jupiter and Sagittarius energy that sometimes makes me think of marrying up is kind of a weird term, but yeah, like marrying or entering into a partnership with someone who's like a little bit higher up. And I say that with finger quotes because it's not that they're like better than you or anything, but have, you know, a higher status, have a kind of classy upbringing. So when you marry this person or when you enter into the partnership with this person, maybe you have to learn, you know, the very fancy table manners, or you have to learn how to speak more proper, or there's something where we have to kind of care more about our reputation or our image where we didn't before. It's a little extra responsibility, an extra thing to worry about, but it is very worth it. There's a feeling of leveling up that is coming for you guys. If you are signing a contract, going through a legal process, or just making any big decision, your future self is asking that you get at least 3 opinions, because it's not necessarily that the 3rd opinion you get is the right one, but if you talk to 3 different people, that will give you a good idea of, for example, if 3 people say the exact same advice to you, if 3 people outline the legal process exactly the same, then you're like, okay, surely everyone's telling the truth, or like, yeah, this is how it goes. Or 3 people say different things, you get a sense for, okay, these are the points where people's advice differ. So maybe I should look into that more. It's like 3 is the right number that you'll get a sense for what is constant, what is definitely like a set rule, and then where people's advice differs. Okay, so let's take a look at the Ace of Swords clarified by the Ace of Wands. The future you, they're saying that they have healed some sort of fatigue or brain fog that they once had, or they have healed some sort of creative blocks or an overall lethargy or lack of motivation. So if you're struggling with any of those things, like writer's block, feeling tired all day, feeling sluggish, feeling like spacey, brain foggy, feeling physically weak or heavy or anything like that, struggling to focus, struggling to find inspiration, all of that has cleared out for you. So the future you is very alert and enthusiastic and very sharp, physically active, motivated. It's like you're full of vibrancy, you're full of energy, and the sun tells me that as well. All of these are giving me that feeling for you. And I think that your future self has changed something about, well, I think it's largely psychological because stresses have left your life. I think you don't have to worry about money at all in your future. And you have set boundaries with people. it sounds a bit harsh, but people in your life who just straight up stress you out, I think that there's either a healthy distance with them now, or they have actually exited your life, or you have exited their life. Because you don't have any financial worries and you're not being socially drained anymore. You don't have to agree to any personal or social commitments out of a sense of obligation. And that makes a huge difference. So yes, I think your like fatigue and brain fog and, low motivation, low energy levels, a lot of it was mental. But I also think that your future self has changed their diet in some way. There's something that you've cut out. There's something new that you've incorporated. If you've been thinking of removing something from your diet, whether it's a food or a substance like caffeine or alcohol or whatever it might be, I think your future self is encouraging you to do it. And they're saying you don't have to be perfect. Like, let's not put that pressure on ourselves unless you want to, but you certainly don't have to be perfect. But removing something or adding something to your diet for most of the time is going to make a great difference. I think you're sleeping a lot better in the future as well. So you're like in tip-top shape physically too. I also think that the future you is putting more effort into their appearance, but it's very much for fun and for themselves and because they enjoy it and it makes them feel good. And they're just enjoying, like, it almost feels like an act of self-care, to put effort into, like your clothing or your makeup or your skincare or whatever. It feels like an act of self-care, and it feels like empowering yourself because, like, you step out into the world feeling fresh and feeling good. What else do we have with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands? Some of you guys might be writing a book or writing a memoir. You feel very passionate to share a certain experience of yours. And there's many people who would benefit from hearing your story. There's many people who would relate to you. You might also give a talk at some point. Like, you might be invited to speak somewhere. I'm thinking of a TED Talk. It may not literally be that, but going to a conference to speak for an audience and tell your story. You might be invited onto a podcast. You might be invited onto a talk show. You might be invited to be on a panel. I don't know what that means. Like, be invited onto a panel of people to discuss or debate something or share your experiences. You may also be invited to be a judge somewhere. And I'm literally thinking of, like, American Idol, they have the 3 judges who critique the singer, or on the Food Network where they have the 3 judges who eat the contestants' food and, like, give feedback. You may be invited to be that judge. Interesting. The cards are being interpreted in kind of an abstract way today, but I like it. The winter season and spring season, I think, are also significant for you guys. Or it could be sort of metaphorical, that you are moving from a winter season in your life to a spring season in your life. So yes, feeling more energized, feeling more inspired. You're free from someone's expectations. Maybe you are free from the expectations of your family. This might be for a select few of you, but there's a feeling of, like, your parents or your family had a very rigid idea of how you should be successful. Like, you should follow this profession, you should marry this kind of person. They might have compared you to an older sibling or a cousin or something like that, directly or indirectly. Like, oh, you should consider being a doctor. oh, you mean like my sister, you mean like my brother, like I know what you're doing, you're saying I should be more like my sibling. Or they could have been more literal about it, why can't you be more like so and so? But there's a feeling of some of you had really like strict or rigid familial expectations, and they for some reason had it in their head like, if you don't live your life this way, then you won't be successful, you won't amount to anything. And the future you freed themselves from these expectations, went their own way, and became successful in their own way. And now that same family or those same people, now all of a sudden they want to be supportive and they want to hear about your life. And this could be kind of confusing or conflicting for some of you, because maybe on one hand you're happy to have that support and to have that recognition, but on the other hand it's kind of like, well, where was that support before? It kind of feels like conditional support, like, oh, now that you see I'm successful and wealthy, now you want to support me, kind of thing. Whereas when I was at the start of my journey and I just had this dream and this passion, it was crickets, it was nothing. So, I mean, I can't tell you how to navigate that situation because it's very personal. Some of you may embrace that reconciliation, some of you may not, and there is no right answer there, but I do feel like that could be happening for some of you. Okay, so finally we have the Four of Pentacles, which is clarified by the Sun. The Four of Pentacles is another card that really makes me think of angelic support. And actually, I have an angel oracle deck. I just want to quickly look at it and maybe we can see which angels are with you. This is not a part of the bundle. I just really feel called to use it right now. And I'm going to pull two from this deck. But one thing that I think your future self is definitely saying is to never forget your child self. And actually, your child self could be a huge motivator for you. It's your why. When you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not doing this for my parents. I'm not doing this to impress a love interest. I'm not doing this to get validation of strangers. I'm doing this for the child me. I'm doing this for them. And never forget to be childish. Never forget to be childlike, and never forget to be playful. No matter how successful you become, no matter how serious a position you might have, no matter how much you grow up and how much you mature, please remember to be a kid and have fun. For many of you, children could actually really help you to remain in that energy. So you might have children, or if you do want children, you either have children around you or animals around you, but you have like a young, innocent, pure being or beings around you that help you to stay childlike. So if you have children, or if you want children in the future, it could be your children that help you to stay in this energy, or it could be like a puppy or like animals that help you to stay in that playful and carefree energy. But your future self is saying, please never forget that. And actually that your inner child is safe to come out. You are safe to have fun. You are safe to be silly. And I actually feel very emotional when I say this, because I just had an image of a very small child, maybe like 4 or 5 years old. And, you know, they're running around and giggling, or, you know, making jokes or playing make-believe or something. And the parents are just like, shh, like, stop it. You're being childlike. You're being childish. You're being silly. Like, yeah, I'm being childish. I'm a freaking child. There's there was no time for those silly games, you know? Or like, I see a parent not even willing to like play pretend with their kid. Like, why would I pretend to be a mermaid? Like, you know, I'm not a mermaid, or just something sad like that. So it's almost like you're getting a chance to be that silly, imaginative child in the future as a grown-up. Your partner will definitely be supportive of that. And I love that because we were getting some classy vibes earlier in the reading. But it's not like uptight in any way. You know, we're definitely having fun. We're definitely having a good time in the future. Never forget your inner child. Never forget the art that you enjoy to make or the art that you enjoy to consume. Definitely financial worries are taken care of with this Four of Pentacles. If you do have children or want children or have companion animals or want companion animals, they will definitely be taken care of as well. And yeah, children and or animals will bring a lot of light into your life. Even if it's not your own child, for example, a niece or a nephew, or maybe even a child that you, or children that you work with. Okay, let's see what angels are with you guys. Capricorn energy could also be significant because we have, this is the sun in Capricorn with the Four of Pentacles. And then I believe the World card is ruled by Saturn, which Saturn rules Capricorn. Okay, so we have Archangel Raguel with clairsentience. Notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. Recurring physical and emotional feelings signify divine guidance. That's amazing because I feel like as you reclaim your physical energy and reclaim your mental energy, that also heightens your psychic abilities. And what was I going to say? Some of you guys, if you experience any pain, either chronic pain or like a sharp pain that comes and goes, it could be, I think psychosomatic is the word, as in there's not really a physical reason for that pain. It is mental or emotional or even spiritual in nature. And when you heal, that pain will go away. When you heal emotionally or heal spiritually, that pain goes away. Who else is with group number 2? We have Archangel Chamuel, I believe is how you pronounce it. I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship, and we have beloved one. Yep, so if you needed any more confirmation that there's a significant partnership going on here, yes. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna put these angels over here and let's move the glare away. Okay, and then we will move on to the oracle deck of this bundle, which is the Inquire Within Oracle. And let's see what other guidance we can get from your future self, or perhaps from your angels. What else does group number 2 need to know? We have nourish, so definitely you're going to be very well taken care of by yourself, by your beloved one, by your chosen family, I want to say, by your family, and by your community. I also think that paying attention to your diet is very important. Because there's leaves on this card, I am thinking of this literally as make sure you are eating your dark leafy greens. There's a lot of delicious ways to cook them. If you don't like them, you may want to put them in smoothies or like in soups. And also make sure that you're hydrated. What else does group number 2 need to know? We have rest. That came out for group number 1 as well. I feel like we all need to rest. We all need to take a break. Nourish yourself, rest. The future you, I feel like the future you spends a lot of time on the go, and I just felt that you spend a lot of time in hotels. You spend a lot of time in nice hotels because maybe you are going to a conference in this city and then you're going to give a talk at that city, or you're going to be interviewed in this city, or your partner's doing something and you want to go with them to see the city. So you're kind of on the move. And it's important to get good sleep, I guess, especially if you're moving time zones. Okay, this is very random, and maybe it's only for like one of you guys, but I just saw like a food item or a drink that is named after you. For example, maybe future you has a friend who like has a bar, and so then they like name a cocktail after you, like the group 2. I'll have a group 2. Or you may have made a huge contribution to a certain community, so then they name a snack after you or something. Like in Ottawa, when we had the Obama tail, we have these things called beaver tails. They're really delicious. They're not actual beaver tails, but then we made an Obama tail. Something like that. Oof, I love the gold detail of this deck. It's so pretty. Okay, let's get a couple more. Okay, let's take all of those. So you guys got an extra one. It's okay to feel feelings. Very important to remember, and also very interesting to note because we had the message of recurring physical and emotional feelings signify divine guidance. So the less you suppress your feelings, the more you allow them to come out, the more psychic insights you will receive. We also have get out of your own way. Group number 1 got that as well. So maybe you are in your own way when it comes to accessing your deeper feelings, as if you've, pushed them down, locked them up, threw away the key. You're not allowing yourself to feel them. Maybe because you are afraid of their intensity. Maybe because for some weird reason you feel like you don't deserve to feel that way. Some of you guys, or maybe more than I originally thought, there is some mistreatment from your childhood, and you are not allowing yourself to feel angry because it's like you feel guilty. So for example, my mom had a really rough life. She had a really tough childhood, and she was just doing the best that she could. Or my parents were going through a lot of stress because we were poor. And so, they didn't have time to be affectionate with us because they had to worry about working. They had to worry about putting food on the table. And those two things can coexist. You can have understanding for where they're coming from, and you can also feel hurt or sadness or anger for your child self. Like, those two things can coexist, and you don't need to feel guilty for feeling hurt or for feeling upset. And I think you need to allow yourself to do that, I guess, mourning for your inner child. And a fewer number of you really need to stop making excuses for someone who was straight up unkind to you. In some cases, and this is like a hard word to say, but in some cases abusive. Like, we need to not make excuses for that, because there's really nothing that justifies that, honestly. Even if you love that person and you don't want to see them in that light. Like, we are suppressing feelings because of, you know, what that means about someone in our life, or like we feel guilty for being upset with someone, or we're not ready for the intensity of those feelings. And I think this is you, like, getting out of your own way and allowing those feelings to come up. It's like a release that needs to happen. Wow. And then the last card that we have is clarity of mind. That makes a lot of sense. Feeling peace, feeling clarity. Wow. So it really is like stepping into a spring season of your life, stepping into new beginnings, renewed energy, renewed clarity. You are free. You are free from the baggage of your past. You're free from the pressure to live your life a certain way. You're in touch with your emotions. You are with your soulmate. You are with your spiritual match. You're definitely making a positive impact in your community. So I think your future self is saying, keep going, keep fighting. I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for what you've been through. And never forget to be your silly child self. Because that's the most important thing, is to have fun. And never take anything too seriously. Nothing is worth sacrificing your peace of mind. Nothing is worth sacrificing your joy. Just have fun. And that's what we're moving towards, a life where you can let your guard down, release your inhibitions, and just have fun. Aw. So, my lovely group number 2s, I'll let you get a look at what the bundle looks like together. This is what the cards look like together. So if you enjoy one of these decks, or if you enjoy the bundle together, they will be linked both individually and together in the description, as well as in the pinned comment down below. And remember that if you do get the bundle, you can get it for 10% off using the code KINO. Thank you very much to Tarot Stack for allowing me to collaborate with them again. And thank you very much to the creators of these beautiful, beautiful decks. It's a pleasure to use them. And thank you for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram, where I regularly post pick a card readings. You can find me on Patreon, which just started back up this month, by the way. We have over 50 exclusive pick a card readings on there so far, plus 2 new ones every month, and you get to choose the topic for those. You can find me on my music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And finally, we have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the temple that is at the start of these videos, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you. Group number 2, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support, for supporting me, for supporting my channel. I'm sending you so much love to all of your loved ones, much love to your guardian angels, and I thank them very much for appearing and sharing their messages as well, and sending lots of love to your entire spiritual team. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 3s, so if you guys chose the Trolleite, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to do this reading with the 2 decks that you see right here. We're going to start off with the tarot. This is the Mystic Dreams Advanced Tarot, and then we are going to get some cards from the Inquire Within Oracle to see what messages and guidance your future self has for you. So a little bit about the 2 decks that we're using today. I have once again teamed up with Tarot Stack and curated another seasonal bundle, and this is the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, which of course is available on Tarot Stack. I think a lot of you guys maybe have heard of them before, but just in case you haven't, Tarot Stack is an online shop that features indie tarot and oracle decks. They have an amazing selection. You can browse decks from many different creators all in one place. I personally love to support Tarot Stack, not only because they are great people, but because 50% of their profits go towards funding indie deck projects. So they help independent tarot and oracle deck creators print their deck and publish it and market it. It's just amazing what they do for our community. I'm very grateful for them, very honored to be able to collaborate with them. And so this is the bundle that we're using today. If you guys enjoy how the decks look together, if you like the decks in this reading, the bundle is going to be linked down below, as well as the individual decks. But if you get the bundle, you can get 10% off using the code KINO. So without further ado, let's get into your reading. We're going to start off with your tarot. I'm going to actually keep that aside because it looks like she wants to come out. When we get to the oracle deck part at the end, we will take a look at her first. But we are starting off with the Mystic Dreams Advanced Tarot. Okay, my group number 3s. What messages does group number 3's future self have for them? I'm going to start by pulling a row of 3 tarot cards, and it could be 3 different messages, or it could be one big message, however your future self would like to do it. And then we're also going to pull a second row of 3 cards underneath to clarify. What does group number 3's future self want them to know? Okay, we're starting off with the Divine Feminine, which is the Empress card of this deck. Interestingly, oh wow, and you guys are group number 3, and this is card number 3, and just as I brought it up to the camera to show you, the time went to exactly 3 minutes. So that's 3 3s. Group number 3, card number 3, minute number 3. So 3 might be a number that is appearing a lot for you guys, or I'm thinking of like things coming in 3s for you, like blessings coming in 3s, opportunities coming in 3s, even obstacles and hard times coming in 3s. So if you guys are going through a tough time, this might be your future self letting you know that after the third hit, things are going to get easier. So let's say you are looking for a job. You might go through 3 rejections before you finally get a yes, or the third interview that you go to might be the one where you are hired, where you are successful. There's something about the third time of something being important, or you will be successful after you try for 3 times. If you have been experiencing rejection or disappointments or things like that over and over, I think this is your future self saying it will not last past the 3rd time. And this is actually, just in general, a beautiful card to receive. The Empress talks about abundance. It talks about prosperity. I definitely think that the future you is doing very, very well for themselves. And something that they're saying is that they have really figured out their definition of abundance. And their definition of abundance, it's more than just having a lot of money. It's like they have tailor-made their definition of abundance and they are living their life to fulfill that. Also, something that I feel often with the Empress is that we've learned to live more slowly. So it might sound a little bit cliche, but I feel like the Empress is someone who has really learned how to stop and smell the roses. And I think I've spoken about this in a reading before, but I had this epiphany about the Empress card when I was walking Yumi, which is my partner's dog, because sometimes when I'm walking her, I'm just thinking about, okay, like we have to finish this walk. It's going to take about 30 minutes and then I'm going to get home and I have to do this and this and this. And my mind is going elsewhere. And I think it was one day where I just felt really present and in my body, and I was watching Yumi and I was looking at the trees. It sounds so cheesy, but it was this moment of complete presence. And in that moment, I realized there was nothing to worry about, because most of our worries exist in the past that we can't change, or they exist in the future that we can't control. It's kind of a blessing and a curse that our mind can be in so many places at once. But when you come back to your body and back to the present moment, things become a lot more simple. And you realize how much there is to enjoy and savor in that one moment. So perhaps something that your future self has become really good at is slowness. Doing everything with intention. I'm also hearing that your future self carries out their everyday tasks as if it were a ritual. Every little action is done so intentionally, and every little action they infuse with intention to manifest their desires. Almost as if everything they do is like a spell. So if the future you, and this is actually something you can implement right now, but I feel like the future you, for example, when they are cooking a meal, every little cut that they put into the ingredient, every little spice that they add, every time they stir, they are infusing those actions with intention to manifest something. And then when they eat the food, it's as if they are, what would you call it? Sealing the deal, solidifying their intention. It's like a ritual, a spell. Everything they do, they put intention in it. And then there's so many more moments to savor. I think that the future you has manifested a lot of the things that you currently want. But I also think that there's a lot of things the future you has let go of. Because it feels like your future self has gone through this shift of what really matters to them. What really would make them feel happy? What really would make them feel abundant? And their ideas might have shifted a bit from the version of you who is watching this right now. So if you have a list of 10 things you want to manifest right now, maybe future you has manifested like 3 or 4 of the really big ones, and the rest of them, they kind of realized that it didn't really matter to them anymore. And maybe this is something you can figure out now. The things that you're chasing, the things that you're trying to manifest, maybe ask yourself if it really matters or why it matters so much to you. And is this a reason that you feel like you can get behind? Is this a reason that you feel good about? Or are there maybe some things you want just because you think that's what you should want, or you feel like it's going to fill a void? or someone else expects it of you. We're getting really clear about why do we chase the things that we chase? And do we even need to chase at all? What is my real definition of happiness? The future you is very self-aware, very at peace, very, I want to say, unbothered about others' opinions, about any sort of BS going on around them. They're like unfazed, untouched by it. No negative energy can permeate their aura. No negative energy can get to them. Very powerful. I mean, that's the Empress. For some of you, the Empress can talk about motherhood or parenthood. So for some of you, if you are not a parent yet, this future version of you could be a parent if that is something that you want. What else? What else does group number 3's future self want them to know? Definitely they want you to know that they love you and that they hope you love yourself. Woo! I also think that, yeah, I'm just talking about how much they love you and then we have an explosion of cards. There's also a message like, I hope you treat yourself with compassion. I think future you looks back on current you with a lot of compassion, with a lot of understanding, gives you a lot of grace, gives you a lot of credit. So if current you thinks, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing a good job, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, future self looks back at you like, that version of me was so amazing. That version of me was really just out there doing their best for me so that this version of me can exist. I owe everything to past group 3, which is current you. I just saw 1111 when I said that, so that is definitely important for you guys. Future you looks back on the you now with so much compassion and also admiration. Like, you were really killing it. I think also future you really enjoys their own company, really enjoys to do things alone. Maybe that's already true for you, but that is something that's coming up. Future you might enjoy taking themselves on dates, might enjoy traveling alone, going to concerts alone, going to museums alone. There's something that future you does alone that the current you might feel shy about or awkward about, or you just can't imagine yourself doing it. And I think when it comes to relationship status, it's very mixed for this group. Like, I can definitely see some of you in a happy romantic relationship, this future version of you. I think it's half and half, because I also see some of you guys being very happily single and just really enjoying your own company. Doesn't mean you're necessarily against companionship or finding that relationship, but you're definitely not stressed about it. So it's mixed for this group, and I also feel like it doesn't really matter because the future you would be happy regardless. Okay, we also have the Seeker of Pentacles. This is the Page of Pentacles. Future you guys, might have a new job. A new job that will make them very happy. Some of you guys, and feel free to just take this if it resonates for you, because there was a lot of talk about like redefining abundance. Some of you guys will take a job that pays you less, but that is 1,000,000 times less stressful, less demanding. I'm also hearing less toxic, and makes you way happier and gives you way more time for hobbies, for travel, for social life, for alone time, a lot more balance in your life. And maybe this message is specifically for those of you who have a job that is good money, but other than that, it's just crap. Like, it wreaks havoc on your mental health. It gives you no balance. I think future you has this realization, like, this money is not worth it. Like, what am I doing? Life is short. My time is precious. My health is precious. My body is precious. My energy is precious. What am I doing selling my time just to feel like crap? So if that resonates for you, please take this as a confirmation. You're taking a lower paying job, but it makes your life so much happier, so much more peaceful. I think a good number of you guys are getting out of a toxic work environment where you were either being taken advantage of, or in some cases, and I hope this is not the case for a lot of you, like mistreated in some way. But yeah, I feel like the other thing could be that you are changing jobs, and so temporarily you're in a lower position or you have a lower salary, but there's more potential for growth. But I feel like there's a new job, or you have a new hobby, or you're working on a new skill. These are all things that the Page of Pentacles can talk about. And interestingly, pages can also talk about children. So for those of you who want to have kids, that is very heavily indicated here. And I think there's something about being the same sign as your child. So like if you're a Pisces, you might have a Pisces baby. If you're a Taurus, you have a Taurus baby. What else do we have for group number 3? We have the 7 of Swords. Things are not as you think they are. I think that, and maybe this is kind of, it might seem harsh if you're not ready to hear it, but I think that a lot of you who chose this group are not really living authentically to yourself. And maybe many of you know this already, but I feel with this 7 of Swords, like we're living in disalignment. And I think a lot of it comes from looking around at what other people are doing, or comparing yourself to others on social media, for example, and then thinking like, oh, this is how I'm meant to live my life. And I think for a lot of you, it's not something that you necessarily actively or consciously do. It's like subliminal. If you see enough people living a certain way, it's like your brain starts to want to mimic that lifestyle. And interestingly, an example that's coming to my mind is about weight loss. Interesting. Maybe this is just metaphorical or symbolic, but some of you could literally have this experience. Maybe you grew up and your family, especially I think the females in your family, talking about, oh, like I need to lose weight, I need to go on a diet, or celebrating when they lose weight. Or you see that constantly on social media, like what I eat to stay fit and blah, blah, blah. And so you may not have necessarily actively tried to subscribe to that, but you see it enough times, you get enough exposure to that, and you just think that that's what you have to do. And I think that the future you has finally seen and embraced an alternate perspective of like, what if I literally don't have to do this? What if I literally don't have to put this stress on myself? What if I'm allowed to just be content with how I am now? The same can be said for like hustling and making more money. You see everybody else striving for those things. You just think that's what you have to do. But this is, honestly, this is lies. This is BS. That's the 7 of Swords. And I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for those things, but it's BS that every single person should want that, or every single person is gonna be happy on that path. And I think, I think that the man, the big boys at the top of the food chain in society benefit from us not being happy with where we are, because then we buy products to fix it, or we work harder and line their pockets to feel like we're getting ahead. And I feel like, sorry to be cliche, but it's like you're stepping out of that matrix of like, I actually don't have to chase any of these things. I can actually just do whatever the F I want and be happy with myself. It costs $0 and I'm allowed to do it. It's great for you if you guys want to strive to those things, if that makes you happy, but I just don't feel the need to do that. Whatever it is, like, I don't need to lose weight. I don't need to gain weight. I don't need to make more money. I don't need to do anything unless I want to. Except for, pay taxes, but okay, anyway. Let's get into the clarifying cards. Let's get a card to clarify the Empress. Ooh, okay, to clarify the Empress, we have the Four of Cups. Wow, so future you is letting you know that a lot of the things that will make you most happy are already in your life, already inside of you, or already within your reach. And I think a big theme of future you, or a big change, is like, we're not chasing anymore. We are not chasing things outside of us anymore. I also think that you don't realize how beautiful you are. And I definitely mean that inside and out, but when I said it, it felt more like an external thing. I know that looks aren't everything, but you are very, very beautiful. And a lot of people would agree. Not that that matters, but just letting you know. And I just think your future self maybe looks back with a bit of bittersweetness or even sadness at times where you didn't allow yourself to be fully in the moment and to just enjoy yourself because you were worrying about how you looked, or you were worrying about like how your clothes were fitting, or worrying about food. Like, there's something about your physical appearance or like physical things that you have worried about, and future you looks back thinking, I could have enjoyed those moments so much more if I just was present with the people I was with and I wore what I really wanted to wear, that was more comfortable or that felt more like me, and I wasn't worried about impressing anyone or looking a certain way or looking a certain size or looking a certain age or whatever. All of those things, they're so inconsequential, and they, people don't really remember like, oh, group number 3's eyelashes looked weird on that day. Like, no, they're gonna remember the jokes that you shared. They're gonna remember the songs that you danced to. Oh my gosh, I'm getting kind of cheesy, but they're gonna remember the feelings, the memories, the connection. I think, yeah, it's like bittersweet. The future you's like, wow, I worried about so much stuff that took me out of the moment when I really just should have been present with my loved ones, with my friends. I should have been enjoying what was happening around me. But I was so in my head. And luckily, future you is very good at getting out of their head and back into their body and back into the moment, and they enjoy life so much more. They're not trying to be anyone or anything other than them. And so in doing so, they allow things that are an energetic match to the real them and things that serve the real them to find them. And yeah, it's being reaffirmed that future you like does less or works less and just enjoys life and leisure more. So for those of you who are like striving to work more and work harder and move up the ladder, your values and your goals might change significantly between the current you and this future you. They're just realizing how short life is and who they're really living for, which is themselves, yourself. It's interesting too, like even the way this reading is going, I'm not just like, okay, like first row of cards, blah, blah, blah. Okay, second row of cards, blah, 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 which I feel like is kind of how I did the other groups. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in this reading, it's like pulling out the cards one by one and, you know, talking thoroughly about each little thing. And I think that really matches future you's energy of doing every single little step so deliberately. I have quite a strong taste in my mouth of a jam sandwich. You know, like a little sandwich that you would eat at afternoon tea, a little fruity jam sandwich. Maybe jam and cream cheese. I don't eat cream cheese, but that's what I'm tasting. And for the record, I did not eat anything similar to that. It just happens sometimes. Okay, let's get a card to clarify the Page of Pentacles. Ooh, divine intervention. Okay, so talk about timing. Divine intervention, and then we have a doorbell. So, and yeah, interesting. This was talking about like a new career path for you guys or starting a new project, and then we have divine intervention to clarify this. In a traditional tarot, this would be the Tower card. So there may be some external forces, some fated events, essentially divine intervention that pushes you into this new career path. And honestly, it could be a little bit jarring at first because generally when we have a Tower moment, it's a sudden change. Something that needed to leave our life left our life, but just the way it happened so sudden and so out of our control, it can be jarring, and honestly we can feel a little bit anxious, confused about the future. I will say, as someone who has had Tower moments before being a spiritual person and after being a spiritual person, being spiritual helps a lot, because no matter how confused or nervous or sad you might feel, there's that underlying like, I know that this is supposed to be happening and I know that something better will come. And that keeps you not completely calm, but I think calmer than you would be if you had no like spiritual way of framing what is happening. So before you reach your dream lifestyle, before you reach your lifestyle of true abundance, of true wealth, of true happiness, I think that there might be a time of insecurity and honestly fear and uncertainty for the future that I think your future self is just giving you a heads up about, or maybe you're going through this Tower moment right now and they're just here to let you know that everything is going to be okay. And they're also letting you know, don't be shy to ask for help. And really, even for big things, like if you're ever in a place where you need money or you need a place to stay, I know those are big asks, but future you wants you to know that whatever you might need in your uncertain times, there will be someone who is willing to help you. So you will never be just like left alone. Tower moment, you're on your own, figure it out. Yes, there might be uncertain times, but you will always have support of loved ones. Yeah, so this is future you letting you know that you will get through it, and it's going to be better than it was before. It's like it gets worse before it gets better. And let's get a card to clarify this Seven of Swords. Okay, Seven of Swords clarified by the Nine of Swords. Wow. So this is a clear message, like your anxiety is lying to you. Because we spoke about the Seven of Swords being deception, lies, not seeing things as they really are. Nine of Swords is about anxiety, overthinking, expecting the worst. So the future you, yeah, and what a beautiful thing to come out after we've spoken about whatever hard times you're going through, no matter how scared you might be, you're gonna get out of it in one piece and things will be better than they ever were before once you get through this tough time. So that voice in your head that tells you, my life is over, I'm doomed, it's lying to you. The example that's coming to my mind is when you go through a breakup and you're very sad, understandably, but there's that voice that tells you like, I'm never gonna find love again. I'm never gonna be happy like I was when I was with this person. Like my life is over. You know, we get carried away in our emotions and our inner dialogue tells us some crazy things. And future self is saying, trust me, because I've been to the future, I'm in the future. I can tell you firsthand that those anxious voices, those defeated voices were lying to you. That worst case scenario that you were so worried about, it didn't happen. And specifically, I'm hearing not even close. What actually ended up happening is not even close to all of the bad things that you were worried about. In fact, it turned out great. Because life is great now. And it was not easy to get here, but it wasn't terrible and disastrous like you might imagine sometimes when you're anxious. Everything is fine. We are fine. We are safe. Looking at the internet a lot, looking at social media, or looking at the news a lot could be really negatively impacting your mental health. So future you is advising you may want to consider limiting your screen time or limiting the sites that you look at, limiting the people you follow, or just disconnecting altogether. My partner is like the least worried person I've ever met, and he doesn't have social media. I'm not saying that's why, just putting it out there, not on any social media platforms. And I personally get myself worked up a lot on social media because for some reason, I have this sick desire to look at the comments and then you see people fighting and everyone is dumb. I'm sorry, that was mean, but I don't know why I go to the comment section when I know there's going to be people arguing and people saying dumb things. It's like a compulsion and it does affect my mental health. So anyway, just something to consider. So these are all of the tarot cards. So let's get into the oracle cards now. Like I said, we're going to look at this one first because she has been waiting ever so patiently. Ooh, ride the wave, see where it takes you. So, yeah, something your future self has definitely mastered is just going with the flow, not always needing to have such a precise plan, and just going where they feel is right in the moment. I also want to say any opportunities that present themselves to you, you may just want to take it and see how it goes day by day. Like not, and that kind of goes back to anxiety and worry. I think people who struggle with anxiety, myself included, we like to know, like, I just want to know how it's all going to turn out in the end, because that gives us a sense of control. So it's almost like before we choose a path, before we make a decision, we want to know exactly what the final outcome is going to be. And I can use myself as an example. Like last year, I chose to go back to school, and I had all of these questions of like, well, am I actually gonna, that was the biggest one. Am I actually gonna finish it? Like, am I actually going to graduate? And is it gonna be too much for me? Like, is the workload gonna be too much? Is it gonna be stressful? Is it gonna be too hard after not going to school for so long? And like, I wanted to know all of these things before I made the decision. And where the truth is, now that I've been in it for a year, I think it was a really good decision to do it and to just go for it. It gave me a lot of positive experiences, and I realized that all of the stuff that I was worried about before going into it is kind of irrelevant to me now. I still don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I realized that it doesn't matter. It never mattered whether I finish it, if it's going to end up being too much, blah, blah, blah. Like, what matters is that I learned a lot. I met amazing people. It gave me discipline. The questions that anxious us asks to make decisions are not necessarily the most important factors. It just gives us more control. Whereas the real blessings along the way are things we didn't even think to ask about. So I hope that makes sense. I think this is a sign for some of you to just go for it. Just go for the opportunity that's presenting itself. And don't worry if you're going to see it through to the end. Don't worry where it's going to go, because you can get off the bus at any time. Just see where it takes you, and if you don't like it, get off. But there might be some positive experiences that were really beneficial to your growth that you will reap, even just in that small part of the journey. All right. So we'll get a few more. Third time using this deck in this video, and third time marveling at how pretty that gold is. It hits different in person, I will say. Of course, it looks beautiful on the camera, but she's a stunner in person. I've literally said that for every single group. And the gold in this deck as well. It's like rainbowy gold. There's literally people who find you so beautiful, like physically and just your aura, that they're even afraid to talk to you or afraid to approach you. There's someone, future you is saying, there's someone who right now you think like they don't like you or they're not interested in you or whatever it is, but future you will learn that they always admired you and always thought you were like gorgeous inside and out, but they were just afraid to talk to you. And future you is like, oh my God, that's so silly. And they're like, yeah, but that's how I felt. You are always shifting. Wow. So we have messages of going with the flow, of constant shifting. One thing future you lives by is that nothing is set in stone, and we can create a new life and we can reinvent ourselves day by day, because the only thing that really exists is today, is now. Anything you want to find, it's out there somewhere. And finally, Finding balance. Yeah. So future you has a lot more balance in their life. Life, I just heard like life is not just about one thing. So some of you guys, the current version of you watching this, you might be like hyper focused on something or have tunnel vision towards something. Whereas future you has a lot more of a balanced approach to life, a lot more of a well-rounded life. I'm also hearing that future you does not really get infatuated by things or like idolize things or people, doesn't put things or people on a pedestal. And something that takes up a lot of your thoughts today, or that you have tunnel vision on, maybe something that you watch a million readings about, is just not so important to you anymore. And I think for many, it could be about like the hustle and the grind that's like not important to you anymore, or a specific person, or the idea of finding someone is just not, it's not important. Because that was another big theme of this reading, like reassessing what really matters. I love this. Balance, flow, presence, like being present in your life. I think you manifest a lot more smoothly and a lot more peacefully. I can't necessarily say faster, but with more ease. You feel more peaceful in the process. And you take the path of least resistance because you're not trying to force anything. And wow, I think everyone has gotten this. Or no, maybe just two groups, but this is not the first time seeing this. Get out of your own way at the bottom of the deck. And I think this has to do with getting out of your head, with healing your anxieties. Once you step out of your own way and step out of your head, all of this peace is like waiting for you underneath. I feel like your essence is extremely calm and peaceful. Even if you feel like you're a super anxious person, I want to tell you that is not you. That's not who you truly are. And literally there's I just posted, like while I'm filming this, no, on the day that I'm filming this, I just posted the February predictions video. Feel free to watch that if you haven't already. But one of the groups had a spirit cat oracle card that was very similar to this. Like, sadness is not who you are. It's like a heavy coat that you've been wearing for a long time. And the same thing with anxiety. It's not who you are. It's something that you've been carrying for a long time. So much so that you start to identify with it. The real you is actually quite serene. Like a calm sea on a sunny day. And sometimes I feel like sometimes others see to your core and see to your essence more than you do. People might say to you like, you're so calming, you're so graceful, you're so ethereal. Things that you might not see in yourself, but that are there, and everyone else can see it. Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. And I'm gonna stop that there. Yeah, my group number 3s. Those are all the messages I and your future self have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me on another bundle. And thank you very, very much to the creators of these decks. They are absolutely stunning. They bring beautiful messages and they go really nicely together. If you guys enjoyed this bundle in the reading, or if you enjoyed one of the decks, both the bundle and the individual decks are going to be linked for you down below. But if you do get the bundle, you can get 10% off using my code KINO. Also, I forgot to mention this for the other groups, but you can actually see every single card in the deck on Tarot Stack's website. So you can really see if you resonate with it before committing. But yeah, all the cards, you can take a look. So thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram. I post regular pick a card readings there. You can find me on Patreon. We just got that back up and running this month, and we have more than 50 exclusive pick a card readings up there so far, plus 2 new ones every month, and you get to choose the topics for those. You can find me on my music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And finally, we have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, or all of them, all of the videos. And we have that temple on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff, I know that that's a lot, but all of that is going to be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means so much to me. Thank you for being here. And I am sending you guys so much love. Lots of love to your loved ones, your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, human and non-human, on earth and not on earth. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Celestite, this is going to be your reading. Group number 4, there is some very powerful energy in you and around you. I have to tell you about a couple things that happened before I started filming. So before I film the actual pile, I do like get the camera rolling just so that I can see what the lighting is looking like and how everything is like fitting into the square. And as I was preparing to film your reading, I had this feeling of a blockage in your heart space. And it felt like needing to get something off your chest, needing to, or craving to tell someone how you really feel, or more in a general sense, craving to be vulnerable with someone, or to let go of pride, let go of fear, let go of inhibitions, and just be intimate with someone. Like your soul is really, really craving connection. And it could be with a specific person. I do feel that for some of you, it's like a specific person that you really want to just open up to them and fall into their arms and tell them everything that's on your mind, but you hold back. But it could very well just be in a general sense that you're craving that type of connection with someone. And so as I was thinking about this energy is being held back, this energy is being blocked, I looked up at the camera, which was rolling, and the time was at 2:22, like 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And I just thought that was a really cool confirmation, because 2 often does speak about love and relationships and connections. If you do have someone specific on your mind, I think the first message from your future self is like, please just run to them and tell them everything and tell them how you feel and be vulnerable. Don't let pride or fear get in the way. Just lay it all out. It will be such a relief, and no matter what the outcome is, you'll be so happy that you did that. And then there was another message coming through about like, you are closer to someone than you realize. And I was imagining 2 people on the other side of the world from each other. Feels very far away, but at the end of the day, they're under the same moon, under the same stars, looking up at the same sky, breathing the same air, on the same little blue dot. And it was just this feeling of you're closer than you think, no matter how far away you might feel in the physical. So that may be a message for those of you who are in a long distance situation, or you feel drawn to someone who is very far away, or who feels metaphorically far away from you, you are closer than you think. If you have loved ones who live far away from you, friends or family, I think your future self is giving you advice to call them more, to reach out more, to keep in touch more. Do what you can to feel closer to them. But yeah, we'll have to see when the cards come out, but there's a lot of main themes of love and connection, soul love that is coming through already. So, with that being said, let's get into the cards. We're going to be using these two decks today. This is the Mystic Dreams Advanced Tarot. This is the Inquire Within Oracle. And these two decks are part of a bundle that I've curated with Tarot Stack. This is the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, my third seasonal bundle that I've done with them so far. I think that many of you are familiar with Tarot Stack already, but just in case you haven't heard of them yet, they are an online shop that features a wide selection of indie tarot and oracle decks, so you can browse decks from many different creators all in one place. I personally love supporting Tarot Stack because 50% of their profits go towards funding indie deck projects. So they help independent artists, independent deck creators get their deck printed and published and marketed and out to the public. I just love what they do for our community, and they're also really, really nice people. I've been partnering with them for quite some time, and it is such a pleasure to be collaborating with them again. So if you guys enjoy the bundle that is used in this reading, or if you just enjoy one of the individual decks and you want to check it out, they're going to be linked down below. But if you do get the bundle, you can get 10% off using the code KINO. So without further ado, let's further expand on these energies that are coming through. Let's see what your future self wants you to know. So I'm going to pull a row of 3 cards at the top. It could be 3 different messages. They could all have to do with one bigger message. I'm going to leave that open. And then we're going to pull a second row of 3 cards below to clarify. Okay, what does group number 4's future self want them to know? Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, 555 on the camera. Big change, radical change, life-changing change. And we have the card Sacred Union, which is the Lovers. And that just makes so much sense with all the energy that was being channeled before. So your future self wants you to know that you are in some sort of sacred union at this point in the future. So they're coming back here to ask you to keep believing in the connection that you feel, or to just keep believing in the idea that this is out there for you, that this is possible for you. Keep believing in the idea that you can open up your heart to someone and have it be received graciously and carefully and lovingly, and to have someone's heart given back to you. There are strong feelings of like a romantic soulmate situation going on, but it definitely does not have to be limited to that, because divine love can be experienced in any sort of connection. Even a connection with yourself, with nature, with friends, it's everywhere. But there is a very significant union that your future self is in, that they want you to know about, and they're coming back here to give you hope. Gemini energy could be significant because the Lovers card is ruled by Gemini. I am also thinking of Cancer, Gemini and Cancer. It could be that those months are significant. So roughly late May to late July, that could be an important time for you. A Gemini or Cancer person could be significant, or someone whose zodiac sign is next to yours. So for example, if you are an Aries, then it could be a Taurus person, or a Pisces person, because those are like the two signs next to it. If you know those off the top of your head, awesome. I'm not going to name all of them, but if you feel curious and you're not sure about the order of the signs, a quick little search and you can see the ones next to you, because someone of that sign might be important. We also have the Five of Wands. Interesting. How many is that? Okay, let's take both of these together for our third energy. Wow. Okay, we have Divine Masculine and the Holy Dancer. And this is so funny because this is Aries energy and this is Pisces energy, which is literally just an example that I gave. And these are also two zodiac signs that are next to each other. So I feel like that's important. Like two people whose zodiac signs are like right beside each other. Okay. So I feel like this reading is going to be about you finding your perfect match. The future you has met their match, is with their match, and in general is surrounded by people who are an energetic match to them. Like they have found their tribe. If you currently watching this reading, if you feel lonely, your future self does not feel that way anymore. If you feel like a black sheep, if you feel different, if you feel like you don't fit in, your future self does not feel like that anymore, because they have found their home. They have found their place where they feel safe, their place where they feel like they belong. If the current you is in any environment where you feel stifled, where you feel like you can't be yourself, where you feel like people don't get you, you are out of that environment. You're out of that household, you're out of that workplace, whatever it is. You are no longer in spaces where you're not appreciated or understood. With the majority of these cards being major arcana, of course the choices that we make can lead us to a better place. But I feel that a lot of what goes down for you is going to be divine intervention. The divine lifting you up and bringing you where you need to be through a series of events in your life. That doesn't mean not to take action if it feels good, but if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like your actions aren't amounting to anything, or you don't know what actions to take to get you into a better situation, your future self is saying don't worry, because it's simply going to happen through the plan that the divine has for you, through divine intervention. It's just going to happen for you. The flow of life will take you there. You are surely moving to a better place. And that's something that your future self wants you to know. It's almost like they're just coming back here to say, don't worry, things are better now, have hope. And I'm also hearing like it's worth it to stick around. To stick around and believe in a brighter future. There's just so much love around you in this future that we're seeing. What I will say with this Five of Wands here, it seems like for this group, your life so far has been a lot of like life showing you what you don't want so that you can get an idea of what you do want. Experiencing what you don't want first so that you can appreciate what you do want more. Your life has been a lot of like going through the dark so that you can recognize the light and so that you can truly appreciate the light. With relationships being a big theme here, it could be that you've been through a lot of unhealthy relationships or disappointing relationships so that you can recognize what true love really looks like, what healthy love really looks like, and appreciate it so much more when it finds you. I think a lot of us experience things like this, like experiencing the dark so that we can experience the light. But for whatever reason, this seems like a main theme that your soul has moved through in this lifetime. So over here, we have the Divine Masculine and the Holy Dancer. For many of you, this could be like your Divine Masculine is coming in, or you embracing your Divine Masculine energy. But what I really think these two cards are representing together is that the future you is excellent at co-creating with the universe. Because the Emperor, this Aries energy, it's all about taking action, taking charge, taking initiative. Whereas the Hanged Man is more of like, let go, release, go with the flow, wait, let it happen. Two quite different energies. And interestingly, they're the first and last sign in the zodiac. And it's a tricky balance to find, because some situations in life call for us to be this emperor, this divine masculine who steps up and takes the lead and takes action. And other times we have to just let go and wait and be still and just accept what is happening. And it's hard. It's hard to know when to be in which energy. And there's no formula to it, of course. It's something that you have to feel your way through. It's something that you have to determine what feels right in this particular situation. And it's not something that we can analyze it, but at the end of the day, our intuition will tell us what to do. No, I feel like it's best to just wait and see what happens. Or, no, I want to step up and take action. It's all about what we feel inspired to do, what we feel called to do. But when we're disconnected from our intuition, sometimes it's hard to know what we feel inspired to do. And on that note, I think your future self is here to tell you, you really, really need to stop doubting your intuition. You are not doing yourself any favors. I think that your ego has convinced you that you're doing something good by doubting it. I'm just being realistic. I'm not trying to be delusional. I'm not trying to get my hopes up. I'm being crazy. Like, your ego makes it feel like you are, and I'm using finger quotes, I want to use that right now, like you're putting yourself in your place. You're giving yourself a reality check. You're keeping yourself in line. It's like your ego frames doubting yourself and pushing yourself down as like doing something good. Keeping yourself in check. You're just being real. You're just being level-headed. It uses that, almost like uses that kind of language to trick you that you're doing what is right. When really, I think for a long time, you've just been stifling how you truly feel. And this is not to judge you, because you've learned to do this somewhere at some point in your life by how someone has treated you or by what you saw other people doing. You've learned to do this. You've learned to stifle yourself. Like a lot of us do it. You are, or your future self has, removed the shackles from your heart. Whatever you feel like you have to lose by fiercely and relentlessly believing in your intuition, whatever you think the negative consequences of that, it's nowhere near the sadness of living a life without magic. And I will just leave it at that. So let's pull our row of clarifiers. A little out of the blue. This happened for group number 3 as well, where I had like a significant taste in my mouth. And for this group, it's not so much a taste, it's more like I'm seeing it, I'm feeling the energy, but strangely turmeric is coming through. I know that it has a lot of health benefits. My mom used to tell me, especially if you eat it with some kind of fat. I have not checked that myself, but my mom's pretty smart with that kind of stuff. So I think we can take her word for it. She used to, or maybe she still does, eat turmeric on eggs. So yeah, that might be relevant for you guys. It could be something that is beneficial for your health. It is very yellow, so it could help in boosting your solar plexus as well. Yeah. All right. Let's get our clarifiers. Let's clarify this sacred union. Let's clarify. Whoa, that is a lot. But it's funny because I was just thinking, oh, you know, this deck is taking quite a while to shuffle, like nothing's coming out. And then all of a sudden, boom, like a bunch of cards came out. And you guys know the way the deck behaves is very significant. It was this feeling of, okay, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, and then boom, all of this stuff is happening at once. So for those of you waiting on this, I feel like that's kind of how it is going. It's not really like we can feel steady progress towards the union. It's more like things are brewing under the surface, things are brewing behind the scenes, and then whoosh, like it manifests in the physical. That's the kind of energy that this sacred union has. I will say as well, with this lover's energy, there's likely a lot of telepathic communication between you and your divine counterpart, or between you and your soul family members. That is something that you guys are very good at. You likely come from a world where communication is not verbal or even necessarily like auditory. It just happens through telepathy. Kidney beans are coming through as well as something that could be beneficial for you. If you don't tolerate beans, of course, ignore me, but I just wanted to mention that. Maybe you can make something together with turmeric and kidney beans. Oh my gosh, okay. To clarify the lovers, we have the Two of Cups, which is also... And oh my gosh, didn't I say I was thinking Gemini and Cancer? This is Gemini, this is Cancer. Boom. Yeah. There's that two signs next to each other again. Just in general, like Gemini and Cancer season, I just saw 2222 as well. Gemini and Cancer season I think are relevant for this group, which is late May to late July. Wow. So this is a card of soulmates, love, relationships, union, reciprocated energy, reciprocated feelings, two people coming together. You guys get the picture. We're basically clarifying with the same energy, and I think that that's really beautiful. No matter how many times you need confirmation or clarification, your divine guidance will bring it to you. So if you ever feel doubtful or lost when it comes to this connection, or anything honestly, Never hesitate to ask for more confirmation, for more clarification, like a million times. Also, I want to tell you guys, if you ever feel like, for example, am I watching too many readings about this person, about this connection, about this area of my life? Am I like watching too many? Am I doing too much? The answer is, from your future self, as long as you feel good while you're doing it, then everything is fine. But if it's making you feel like restless or hopeless or frustrated, then stop. And that's really beautiful advice, because I think that this group struggles with like, should I do this or should I not do this? Or when should I do this and when should I do that? And the answer is always, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. For some reason, the example that's coming to my mind is waking up early. Like, let's say you read all these articles about how good waking up early is for you. Like, I don't know, it does this for your metabolism and your brain and your internal clock and blah, blah, blah. And then you see people around you are like, oh, I should really wake up earlier. Or like, all successful people wake up early, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're wondering if you should do it too. And literally the answer is just, do you feel good when you wake up early? If you don't feel good when you wake up early, don't do it. If it makes you feel good, do it. And it's hard to get back to that when for so long we've been told that our feelings are not an accurate compass, or they're not valid. They're not reliable sources of information. When we've been told that for so long, sometimes our feelings stop being a factor in our decisions. So rather than asking ourselves, well, how am I feeling when I wake up early? Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? We're like, what does this article say? What does this other person say? We look externally for the answer of what we should do, when really the bottom line comes from within. Even when we take advice from the outside, it has to pass the check of our internal guidance. And I don't know, it feels like this group has kind of slipped. I don't know what this motion is. Slipped from their internal guidance a bit, like dislocated, and needs to be like popped back into place. But anyway, yeah, that was a bit of a tangent, but double confirmation of a divine union, double confirmation of love in your life. Double confirmation of someone's feelings being reciprocated. If you've never met your person and you just feel them out there, the reciprocation would then be that they feel you out there. Let's get a card to clarify the Five of Wands. Whoop. Why do we have so many coming out? Oh man, there's a lot that your future self wants to say to you, probably a lot more than what we can cover in this reading. So I think this is their invitation to you, to reach out to them yourself, because there's been, I think, at least 3 instances in this reading where like too many cards come out for me to take. And to me, it feels like there's so much I want to tell you, but it's like too much volume for this reading, or it's too personal to get into like in a video for thousands of people. So we can talk about it in private kind of thing. Or like the signs, the references are too personal to resonate for everyone. But yeah, in any case, I think that your future self is inviting you to talk to them more. as well as your divine counterpart. Okay, to clarify this Five of Wands, we have the Fates. Wow. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Another major arcana. So we have majority are major arcana. And again, this is a confirmation that divine intervention is at work. And with this clarifying the Five of Wands, I think what this means is it's a lot harder to mess up your fate than you think, or it's a lot harder to mess up what is meant for you than you might think. This is like conflicting energy, and I feel like the Fates is trumping this. I think that this group might spend a lot of time worrying about, am I getting in the way of my manifestations? Am I blocking it? Am I doing something wrong? Am I delaying union? Am I delaying my blessings by doing X or by not doing Y? It feels like there's just a lot of thinking going on in this group. And thinking is good, but overthinking is not good. There's so much like, what should I do? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it wrong? And your future self wants you to know that in the future, you will do what feels right in your heart. You will move naturally. You will move instinctually. Actions that you take will not be this process that was deliberated and went through 5 stages of analysis and checked a million times, because you just know what to do. Once you get back to connecting with that inner compass, it's like a muscle memory. You know what it feels like. Your intuition has a distinct feeling. And once you are able to recognize it, you just move naturally. I hope that makes sense. You move naturally through the world. You just follow your instincts. You know where to go. Like a little baby sea turtle walking to the ocean. You just know where to go. Speaking of sea turtles, let's get out my handy dandy spirit animal book. Yeah, okay, turtle, ocean, sea turtle. You've been going much too fast for too long, so slow down and pace yourself. This is a time to be more self-reliant and less dependent on others. Take time to nurture yourself and simply observe and feel your emotions. So we're being encouraged to disconnect, to come back to ourselves, rely on your own guidance rather than what is out there. The irony is not lost on me because I'm another person giving you guidance, but rely on, well, actually it's future you. I'm just the talking head. Rely on your own self, rely on what feels good to you rather than what others might be doing or others might be saying. Especially this, like, if it feels better for you to do less, or if it feels better for you to go at a slower pace, don't let the hustle and bustle of society get to you and make you feel like you need to do more. More is not necessarily better. Sometimes more is worse. Sometimes faster is worse. I just saw this quote. Where did I see it? I actually think it was on Instagram, but it was from like a pro athlete, a runner, and he said, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's like the more you rush, the more you will fumble, the more you will hit obstacles. Slow is smooth. The more you slow down, the smoother and ultimately quicker you will actually get to your destination. Because you won't be bumping into things. You won't be getting flat tires. You won't be taking the wrong way because you were so frazzled. Slow is smooth. Okay, this is a period of increased sensitivity to the Earth's vibrations and those of the collective human consciousness, which you'll first feel as sensations in your body prior to the resultant emotions. So you definitely have the gift of clairsentience. You may receive psychic messages through physical sensations in your body. Your future self wants you to pay attention to those. Spend a few hours or longer in solitude, away from other people and the usual noise that surrounds you. This is a very creative, fertile time, and you need to shield yourself from interferences that threaten to distract you. And then finally, I want to point out that these are on page 272 and 273, which could be relevant numbers for you. And sometimes people ask in the comments, I should really show the cover of the book, but this is the book. Okay, now let's get our final clarifying card. Let's clarify this divine masculine and this hanged man. Interesting, like this is the holy dancer in this deck, but it's often called the hanged man. And then we have the divine masculine. So there's some masculine energy that is significant. Okay, let's clarify the divine masculine and the holy dancer. Yeah, many of you already know who this is talking about, but look at that. Look at freaking that. Divine intervention. How many times have I used that word? So many major arcana. We have 7 cards here. Yeah. Out of 7 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are major arcana. So fate is playing a huge role in your journey. And yeah, I was starting to say, like, if something's meant for you, it's really hard to mess it up. I think you get in your head and worry that you're messing it up, but like, not to sound threatening, but it's kind of like your future self saying, this is happening whether you like it or not. Of course, if you don't like it, you don't have to. I think it's just the figure of speech, like, with a great degree of certainty. This is happening. This is coming. This union is happening. This divine masculine is coming. This holy dancer is coming. Maybe this person is an amazing dancer. I don't know. But yeah, this is the Tower in traditional tarot, but honestly, and this actually came out for another group, and it did feel kind of more towery in that group, but it doesn't necessarily feel like the traditional Tower energy in this group. It just simply feels like divine intervention. It simply just feels like another confirmation. So honestly, you know, with the hanged man, someone, you know, just hanging out, not moving. If you guys are dealing with a masculine who is not moving, who is dragging their feet, whatever it might be, I do think divine intervention is coming in to kind of shake things up a bit. Or maybe you are the person who's hanging and dragging your feet. But whatever the case may be, divine intervention is coming in to stir things up, to get things moving. I don't think you have to worry about taking action unless it really, really feels like you want to do it. But otherwise, just hang out like the sea turtle, just vibe. And the divine is coming to get things moving for you. Yeah, that's all I can say, because it's literally like, these are very clear reiterations. All right, so finally we're gonna get into the Inquire Within Oracle for some last messages and guidance. What else does group number 4's future self want them to know? It's not a competition, very interesting. So there's some kind of comparison to others that we need to stop. You know what I've been thinking about a lot recently? I think the narrative of don't compare yourself to others is very widespread, right? We all know that we shouldn't do it. A lot of people talk about it. But then very often I see this narrative of like, you don't need to compare yourself to others. You only need to compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. And I'm like, no. No. Because okay, let me be clear that progress is good. Growth is good, okay? We're not arguing that. But I think this idea of you need to compare yourself to your past self, it's not always helpful. And I think it just perpetuates this idea that we always need to be doing more. We always need to be getting farther. We always need to be moving up. You might look back sometimes and feel like I was doing better last year than I am now. And that should be okay. That needs to be okay. I don't know. I don't like the idea of comparing yourself to past you. Like, oh, I was so much prettier back then, or like I was doing better back then, or like, no. I get the idea that like we want to become a better person, of course. We want to keep healing. We want to keep growing. I don't like the idea of the current you must always be better than the past you. Like, we're just not linear like that. So anyway, that was my 2 cents. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to your past self. Damn, like, just do the best that you can every day. Don't worry about it. You will progress. You will grow just as a byproduct of living. You don't need to be checking like, how successful am I compared to the previous month? Yeah. I mean, that can be beneficial in some situations, but maybe this group needs to hear that you don't constantly need to be getting better or moving up. At least not in a linear fashion. It might look like this. And that is okay and valid and very normal. What else does... Ooh. Interesting. Love your dark side too. I like the yin and yang vibe that we have going on here, the masculine and the feminine. Interestingly, the eyes are also like opposite. Sorry, I had a little burp come out. Yin and yang vibes are very strong. Your future self wants you to know that the things you might deem as your dark side are not dark at all. They're really not. You don't need to punish yourself. Ooh. Curiosity. And okay. And oh my gosh, coming together and yin yang again. Wow. Okay. So when it comes to trusting your intuition, when it comes to, I think it's specifically about the psychic insights that you receive and the downloads that you receive. I think your future self is saying something that could be really helpful is to not see that insight as an extension of you, meaning that if I'm correct about this, it affirms me. If I'm wrong about this, it discredits me. Just observe it as something that has come to you and observe it with curiosity. So, let me think. Let's say you receive a telepathic message from your divine counterpart. You feel that this is happening. You might go into this, you might approach it from an angle of like, am I right about this or am I wrong about this? And so it's all about either affirming yourself or discrediting yourself, which is kind of a self-absorbed way to look at it. I'm not judging you, I'm just realizing that this thing that we do is kind of a self-absorbed way of looking at it. Rather than coming at it from the angle of like, with curiosity, like, ooh, what is this? I've received this message, I wonder what it's about. And like exploring it with curiosity without taking it personally or without seeing it as something to validate or invalidate you. Does that make sense? Like, I know I've received some kind of message. Let's just sit with it and see. Let's just see. We don't need to like do a ruling on it. Just, or come to any conclusions. That was a gavel, by the way. Is that what it's called? The judges like, bam. Yeah, let's observe it with a curiosity and with a wonder and just see what it might have for us. And there's no stress surrounding it. There will come a point in your future self's life where insights come to them, telepathic messages come to them, signs and synchronicities come to them, and it doesn't even cross their mind of like, oh, should I take this sign? Like, is this valid? Is this my intuition or something else? Because it's like, well, there's literally something here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be experiencing it. I might not know what it is just yet, and I might not have to label what it is. Let's just feel it through. I hope that makes sense because it's a bit of an abstract thing, but that is the advice that your future self has for you. And then of course, coming together, that's very straightforward. Lots of mirroring images like the eyes, yin and yang going on. I mean, we already knew that the divine counterpart energy was very strong. The letter C is jumping out at me, like coming, curiosity, competition. So that could be someone's initial, first, middle, or last name, or they could be from a city or country that starts with C, like Canada. Shout out to my fellow Canadians. Or you could meet in a country or city that starts with a C, or could work in a company that starts with a C. Yeah, I think that's, what else starts with a C? I don't think there's any months that do, but like Cancer, Capricorn. Are there any months? No. Anyway, yeah, so my group number 4s, these are all the messages I have for you and your future self has for you. So we are going to end the reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. Thank you very much to Tarot Stack for allowing me to collaborate with you again. And thank you so much to the creators of these lovely decks. It was such a pleasure to use them. They go really, really nice together. If you guys enjoy how these decks work together, or if you want to check out an individual deck more, you can actually see every single card in the decks on Tarot Stack's website. So those are going to be linked down below if you want to look through all of the cards and see how you resonate with it before making a commitment. And then the bundle is going to be linked down below as well. And if you do get the bundle, you can get 10% off with my code KINO. But yes, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you would like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram. I post regular pick a card readings there as well. You can find me on Patreon, which we just got back up and running this month. I was on a little break in January, but we are back, and we have more than 50 exclusive pick a card readings on there so far. We also have 2 new ones every month, and you guys get to choose the topics for those. You can find me on my music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over there. And finally, we have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that is at the start of these videos, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff, I know it's a lot, but all of that is going to be linked down below for you in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It means so much to me. I really appreciate you being here. Group number 4s. What a beautiful reading. I hope that it was helpful to you. I hope that it gave you some hope, some clarity. It was really a pleasure to read for you guys. The energy is very strong, very clear, very straightforward. Wow. So thank you for being here. I'm sending you guys so much love. Much love to your divine counterpart, to your person, to your loved ones, your spirit guides, and your whole spiritual team. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.